Thanks, Emily. In other news, this is the fifth time I've read this story. Champaign authorities have announced
We saw a break from the rain this morning, but rain is currently falling here in Charleston and across east central Illinois and will continue to do so as we move overnight. I'll have the full story on the overnight rain coming up.
Thanks, Emily. Also tonight, Champaign officials announced restrictions for alcohol sales ahead of Illinois men's basketball's Final Four showdown. We'll have more on the changes coming this weekend.
Plus, Illinois State Police rely on an aging fleet of vehicles. We'll show you what the financial challenges could be. This is Newswatch, and your Thursday's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
It was an unseasonably warm April Thursday here in East Central Illinois, but as you can see, the unpleasant weather has arrived. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Matthew Posner.
And I'm Andrew Spade. Emily Davis is in the Weather Center with the latest. Good evening, Emily.
Good evening. Rain is currently falling here in Charleston and across most of our viewing area. The system is moving a little bit quickly, though, pushing off to the northeast, but it will return as we move overnight tonight. And because of that, we've been placed under a level 2 or slight risk by the Storm Prediction Center for that severe weather. This will include possible tornadoes, hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and strong winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. These risks will continue as we move overnight tonight with isolated or scattered thunderstorms moving through our area. And because of those strong wind gusts earlier today, we've been placed under a wind advisory that will expire at 7 p.m. And we're currently seeing a severe thunderstorm warning in Vermilion County that will expire at 5:45 p.m. due to the storms that are currently moving through our area. I'll have the full story on these thunderstorms coming up.
Thank you, Emily. In other news, Champaign authorities have announced plans to limit some alcohol sales this weekend ahead of the Illini's Final Four matchup against UConn. An emergency order from the city's acting liquor commissioner will pause retail alcohol sales from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on April 4th in an area around the University of Illinois campus. During the same time frame, the order also prohibits delivery of alcohol inside the marked area on your screen by liquor businesses or third-party services like DoorDash. Meanwhile, businesses in the zone licensed to serve alcohol for consumption, like restaurants, won't be able to sell drinks in glass containers from Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. City officials say if the Illini win their semifinal game, similar restrictions will be enacted on Monday, April 6th for the national championship. They say the heavy restrictions are being placed in the best interest of the public's safety. We'll have more on U of I's Final Four showdown later tonight in our Sports Watch report. Also in Champaign, we're learning more about a house fire yesterday afternoon. Fire crews were called to the 500 block of East Beardsley Avenue just before 2 on Wednesday after reports of smoke coming from a single-story home. Officials say when they arrived, they found light smoke at the rear and a growing fire inside. Crews quickly deployed multiple hose lines, keeping the flames contained to the back of the house and bringing the situation under control. No injuries were reported, and officials say the occupants were not home at the time.
A correctional officer with the Macon County Sheriff's Office is set to appear in court later this month for drunk driving and other charges. On Tuesday, around midnight, 46-year-old James Davis was arrested by Decatur Police Department at the Circle K gas station on West El Dorado Street. Police say Davis was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol, resisting or obstructing a peace officer, and aggravated battery to a peace officer. They say he has been employed as a correctional officer since 2000 and has been placed on administrative leave. Dave was processed and released from the Macon County Jail and with a notice to appear April 14th. New reporting shows Illinois state troopers are relying on an aging fleet of vehicles. Capital News Illinois reports more than 1,000 ISP vehicles have exceeded their lifetimes, but there isn't enough money to replace them. Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly says it will take the agency 18 years to replace its vehicle fleet with their current funding. Republican State Senator Seth Lewis is worried about troopers using cars that do not meet today's safety standards.
We do spend close to $56 billion. If we can come up with 20, 30 million to keep our officers safe, I want to work on that.
Director Kelly also says the cost of new vehicles has grown to $120,000. The governor's introduced budget calls for appropriating $30 million to buy new state police vehicles. Charleston police are warning of another text message scam. The department says they have received reports from people receiving images like this from unknown phone numbers or for parking violations. They say to not respond or follow any of the instructions listed. They also recommend never giving out personal information to anyone you're not familiar with. The department says to call them if you are unsure on what to do.
Terre Haute police are remembering an officer lost over a century ago in a brazen shootout. Police say Chief of Detectives William Dwyer was killed at the Vigo County Courthouse on this date back in 1908. The New York Times reported 30-year-old Henry McDonald produced a gun after being found guilty of dynamiting 3 buildings in nearby Sanford. McDonald killed Dwyer in the ensuing shootout, and 4 others were wounded, including McDonald. He was convicted of manslaughter and eventually paroled in 1915, only to die 10 years later in another shootout with Terre Haute police. Lakeland College is asking for your feedback to help shape future class schedules. Residents and prospective students are invited to take a short online survey. The college says responses will help expand options, including online, in-person, evening, and weekend classes. Officials say the goal is to better support students balancing school, work, and their daily lives. The survey is open through June 30th, and the link to the survey can be found through the school's website. Many water bills in the city of Olney are lost in transit. According to the city of Olney, the bills were mailed as usual, and the issue occurred after they were transferred to the postal system. If you didn't receive your bill, you may email the city of Olney or call City Hall using the email or number on your screen. The city of Olney says that with the recent mail issues, now is a great time to consider switching to e-billing and ACH payments to have your bills emailed to you and your payment automatically drafted each month. These options are free, and you can sign up for them by visiting City Hall or contacting the email and the phone number on your screen.
Planning a digging project this spring? State leaders say it's important to make a call first. April is Safe Digging Month in Illinois, and officials are urging homeowners and contractors to call 811 before starting any project. A quick call allows crews to mark underground utility lines for free, helping prevent dangerous accidents. Hitting a line can cause power outages, serious injuries, or even death. State law requires at least 3 business days before digging, and projects must begin within 10 working days. The city of Effingham is inviting residents to roll up their sleeves and give back to the environment this Arbor Day. The city is hosting a community tree planting event Saturday, April 25th at City Hall from 9 a.m. to noon, with support from the Morton Arboretum and the Public Works Department. Volunteers will help plant 26 new trees around the area. Organizers say all equipment will be provided, and people of all ages are encouraged to participate. The event is part of efforts to promote sustainability and beautify the community.
Another local city is planning some new additions. The city of Mattoon recently shared photographs of improvements to the pickleball courts at Peterson Park. Improvements include a new center fence, replacing post sleeves for nets, and maintenance of the perimeter and back fences. The city says the upgrade will help ensure the courts remain safe, secure, and ready for continued community use. Well, we had good weather for playing some pickleball today until about 30 minutes ago.
Exactly. Local forecaster Emily Davis is tracking some upcoming rain and more. Good evening, Emily.
Good evening. That's right. It was nice earlier this morning and afternoon with just partly to mostly cloudy skies, but rain has begun to fall here across Charleston and Eastern Illinois campus and will continue to do so as we move overnight. I'll keep you updated as the storm develops.
A pair of snorkeling scientists found an underground fossil-filled cave leading to unprecedented paleontological discoveries in central Texas. According to the University of Texas at Austin, the scientists gained access to a previously unmapped cave on private property and snorkeled through underwater streams leading to an area brimming with undisturbed fossils. It was there, according to a study published in the journal Quaternary Research, that co-authors John Moretti and John Young discovered, among dozens of fossils, the remains of a giant tortoise and a relative of the armadillo the size of a lion. The study says the remains of those Ice Age animals, dating back some 100,000 years, had never previously been found in central Texas before and have raised new questions about what is known about the region's geological and climatic past. From some scintillating snorkeling science to a game of underwater tag. Video shared by the nonprofit Ocean Alliance shows the organization's use of aerial drones, affectionately known as snotbots, to drop sticky suction-cupped tags on wild whales from above. The tags feature wireless cameras and various sensors, allowing researchers to track the mammal's movements, gather critical data, and simply watch in wonderment from a respectful distance. Finally, let's give some respect to the big brain on this bird, who is seen acing a quizzical color match game put on by handlers at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. The zoo says crows have a level of intelligence that rivals apes in some tasks, allowing them to solve complex problems. This one even corrects a mistake she made. I mean, not to brag, but I also took a stab at the same game and also aced it. Eventually. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We saw a break from the rain this morning, but rain is currently falling across east central Illinois and will continue to do so as we move into the early evening hours. This system is pushing from the southwest to the northeast, so it is going to be dumping quite a bit of rain on us as we move overnight. And because of that, the Storm Prediction Center has placed us under a level 2 or a slight risk for severe weather. Now, this does include the possibility for possible tornadoes, hail up to an inch in diameter, and damaging wind gusts possibly up to 40 miles per hour. Now, the biggest risk overnight tonight will be those winds, with the winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. But although there is still that risk for hail or possible tornadoes as this system develops and continues to push off to the northeast. Now, because of those strong winds that we saw earlier today and as we move overnight tonight, we've been placed under a wind advisory, which is indicated here by this brown color covering our entire viewing area. This wind advisory will not expire until 7 p.m. tonight due to the storms that will continue to be pushing through. And also up here in Vermilion County, they have been placed under a severe thunderstorm warning. This will expire here coming up soon at 5:45, but this warning is still in place in Vermilion County currently. Now, overnight tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures not dropping down much, a low temperature of just 60 degrees. And part of the reason why this low is a little bit warmer is because of the strong winds out of the south that we saw throughout the daytime today. And we're going to continue to see overnight tonight. Once again, these storms will bring strong wind gusts gusting up to 40 miles per hour, and that's because that's why we are placed under this wind advisory as we move overnight tonight. Now, as for the timing of the storm, the heaviest rain that we're going to be seeing from this system is falling right now across most of our viewing area. Now, this will push off to the northeast, like I said, and we'll see a little break from the rain around 8 p.m., but more rain is expected as we move overnight tonight. This time, a little bit more scattered, though, with scattered thunderstorms moving through our area overnight, clearing up by tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, we will see partly cloudy skies to start off the day once again. And tomorrow, maybe the last day you'll want to try to get outside, because we will be seeing partly cloudy skies and eventually mostly cloudy skies in the morning and afternoon. And it's also going to be the last day we're going to see warmer temperatures with a high temperature of 74 degrees tomorrow. Once again, due to those winds blowing out strong out of the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour, eventually up to 15 to 20 miles per hour, but there is still that possibility of rain in the late afternoon hours. This time, though, a little bit more scattered of rain showers as we move into the late afternoon and clearing up a little bit quicker around the late evening hours, to leaving us with mostly cloudy skies. Now, from tonight's rain and tomorrow's rain, we're expected just around 7/10 of an inch here in Charleston, although a little bit over an inch in some places like Champaign, just around an inch over in Decatur. But this is leading up, this time right now is Saturday at 7 a.m., and we're expecting expecting even more rain as we move into the weekend. So Saturday, heavy rain showers are expected as well on Saturday, which is going to cause a cold front to move through as well. So our high temperature of just 64 degrees will actually occur in the morning hours, which will cause temperatures to actually drop down throughout the daytime to start off your weekend. Now those temperatures are only going to continue to drop down as we finish off the weekend. A high temperature of 53 degrees on Sunday for your Easter under partly cloudy skies, so that rain will let up, but temperatures are going to be dropping, getting down into the low 50s on Monday. High temperature of 51 degrees on Monday under partly cloudy skies. And we're going to see that cold front move through from Saturday morning, eventually into Saturday evening, and that's going to cause colder temperatures as we move into Sunday eventually, and eventually into Monday as well. We're seeing a high temperature of 74 degrees on Friday, although those scattered showers, heavier rainfall throughout the entire day on Saturday. But that morning high of 64 degrees is going to drop down as we move throughout the daytime, eventually moving into our Sunday, where we will not see rain, but we're going to see a high temperature of just 53 degrees, dropping down even further as we start next work week with a high temperature of 51 degrees and getting even colder overnight on Monday. Overnight Monday, we're going to see a low temperature below freezing, and it's only going to warm up into the 40s by Tuesday, but then temperatures will slowly start to warm up around midweek, getting into the upper 50s, eventually near 70 again by next Thursday, this time with no rain.
You know, it was beautiful out there today, and then the rain came in, and then now it's going to get cold again.
You know what they say, April showers bring May flowers, but I'm already kind of sick of the April showers. I'm ready for golf weather. I'm ready for all this. I want to go out and tee off, you know. I'm just ready for it. Thanks, Emily. Coming up tonight in sports, one of Eastern Illinois track's early season stars is getting some recognition.
Also coming up, Illinois men's basketball has arrived at Indy for the Final Four. I'll have more on the stars of the team in your Sports Watch report right after this break. Thanks for watching.
From sea to shining sea, cities coast to coast are planning special celebrations to mark America 250 this July 4th. Melanie Fish is a travel expert with Expedia. She says they've noticed a surge in people researching trips to areas home to famous parks that showcase the country's natural beauty. Expedia's data shows the biggest jump in searches is for Billings, Montana, one of the entryways to Yellowstone Park, followed by Lake Tahoe, California, home to the Sierra Nevada peaks, and Asheville, North Carolina, near the Blue Ridge Mountains and Great Smoky Mountains. It's not just places of beauty that travelers are researching. Fish says cities with rich historic significance are trending as well, and some are destinations you may not typically think to visit. Expedia found travelers are really interested in spots like Birmingham, Alabama, where some of the most pivotal protests of the civil rights movement took place. Cherokee, Oklahoma, where travelers can visit heritage sites to learn about the Trail of Tears, where thousands of Native Americans were forced to migrate west. St. Louis, Missouri, the gateway to the west that sits along the mighty Mississippi River. For those who want to rent an RV, Fish recommends crunching the costs. It may be cheaper to fly to your destination and then rent an RV once you've arrived. She says the site RV Share allows you to book a one-way rental. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
On the track, one Eastern Illinois athlete is earning some conference recognition as the outdoor season officially begins. Makai Nelson has been named to the Ohio Valley Conference Male Player of the Week after his performance over the weekend at the EIU Big Blue Invite. Nelson placed first in both the triple jump and long jump at the Invite and is one of 3 Panther athletes to win multiple events over the weekend. He also holds the OVC record for both the long jump and third best in the OVC for the triple jump. Nelson and the rest of the Panthers will be back in action tomorrow at the Indiana State Pace Setter Invitational. Moving to the Diamond, EIU baseball is in action tonight against Tennessee Tech. It's the first of a 3-game series between the Panthers and the Golden Eagles. Eastern is 15-10 so far in the campaign and went 2-1 last weekend in a home series against Morehead State. The Panthers are off to a 5-1 start in the OVC play, while Tennessee Tech is winless in the OVC at an 0-6 record. First pitch for tonight's game is slated for 6 in Cookeville, Tennessee. If you're a Panther fan looking for something out of the ordinary to watch, well, you're in luck. Weather permitting, get this because it's raining out now, the EIU beach volleyball team will be playing its lone home game of the season tomorrow at their brand new beach volleyball pit at the Linder Sports Complex. First service set for 2 against Lindenwood as the Panthers are coming off a dominant 5-0 win against Tennessee Tech. Following tomorrow's game against the Lions, Eastern will be on the road for the Austin Peay tournament in Clarksville, Tennessee. The Fighting Illini men's basketball team has officially arrived in Indy for its Final Four game against UConn on Saturday. But how did the Illini get there? Let's break down the key pieces of the lineup. David Mirkovic is a 6'9" freshman from Montenegro and has scored in double figures in 27 games so far this season. He also has 9 double-doubles. Keaton Wagler, a future NBA lottery pick, was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year and first team All-Big Ten, and Wagler leads the Illini in scoring, averaging almost 18 points per game. Tomislav Ivicic, a 7'1" center from Croatia, is in his second year with the Illini and is a key piece to their success with 18 games in double-figure scoring. Andrei Stojakovic is in his third year playing college ball and has been dominant in the paint for the Orange and Blue. Andrei, son of NBA legend Peja Stojakovic, has played its minutes off the bench for the Illini, but notched 17 points in their win over Iowa. Once again, the Illini will tip off against the UConn Huskies at 5 on Saturday from Indianapolis, and we'll have a final preview for you tomorrow. U of I isn't the only college basketball team in our area still lacing them up, as the Illinois State Redbirds are in the NIT semifinals, and they take on Auburn tonight. ISU took down MAC 3 seed Kent State, NIT 1 seed Wake Forest, and mid-major powerhouse Dayton on their way to the semis. The Redbirds are 23-12 on the campaign and finished third this season in the Missouri Valley Conference, losing in the playoffs to eventual champion Northern Iowa. Auburn was at the forefront of the March Madness bubble conversation and is also one of the NIT 1 seeds. The Tigers are 20-16 on the season and are the heavy favorites tonight. This game tips off at 6:30 following the conclusion of the first NIT semi between 1 seeds New Mexico and Tulsa. Just one spot remains in next week's Masters field, and it goes to the winner of this week's Valero Texas Open. Let's see where everyone stands as round 1 winds up in San Antonio. 6-time PGA Tour winner Tony Finau is tied for the lead, but currently it's Stephen Fisk who's in the lead, who looks to avoid missing the Masters. Finau does, the first time since 2017. He's tied at the top with former John Deere Classic winner Davis Thompson, who is yet to qualify for this year's Masters. Currently 3 shots back is U of I alum Adrian Dumont de Chassart, try saying that 3 times fast, who opened with a first round of 69. We'll have a full recap of the Valero Texas Open and a Masters preview on Monday. Finally tonight, the Bulls and Pacers went head-to-head last night in the United Center in what turned into a high-scoring affair. Chicago notched 126 points, in part thanks to Gershon Yabusele's team-high 20. But the Pacers' 145-point outburst gave Indiana a 19-point victory. Pascal Siakam led all scorers with 25 points, and both teams have been eliminated from playoff contention. That's all for sports. Back to you, Matthew.
Can't wait for the Masters. Thank you, Andrew. Coming up, Emily Davis will have a final look at the not so much incoming rain anymore, it's just raining, and dropping temperatures. But first, Penguins and Pebbles. We'll have more on an unlikely duo that's making headlines in Scotland in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
You hurt her. I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it.
Scream 7 is the top-grossing movie in franchise history, so it's no surprise that Scream 8 is in the works. According to Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter, sisters Nora and Lila Zuckerman, who've worked on a range of popular TV shows, are writing a script for the next installment.
The making of the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi and The Simpsons was and is the time of our lives.
James L. Brooks helped create those shows and many more, and now he's been chosen to receive the Peabody Award's inaugural Industry Icon Award. The writer, director, and producer, whose films include Terms of Endearment, Broadcast News, and As Good as It Gets, will be honored at a ceremony May 31st in Beverly Hills.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Antonio Salieri.
Just because you're stuck rehashing boring old operas doesn't mean I have to be.
Emmy nominees Will Sharp and Paul Bettany star in a new take on Amadeus. This is the first look at the period drama based on Peter Shaffer's award-winning play. The limited series premieres May 8th on Starz. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, these penguins have children to thank for finding love. Penguins use, that's right, pebbles in their romantic rituals. And according to the Zoological Society, kids painted more than 1,000 of them for these penguins in the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland to use. The kids got to watch the penguins over webcam to see if their pebble was picked. Well, something that doesn't rock is our upcoming forecast. Emily, take it away.
It's definitely going to be a rainy forecast, and we're seeing that rain currently falling across most of the viewing area. Now, the system is pushing from the southwest up to the northeast and will continue to push through as we move overnight tonight. We're going to see a little break from the rain as we are looking out currently. That rain is starting to push off now. We're seeing that sun begin to make a return currently, but we are going to see more scattered thunderstorms as we move overnight tonight. And because of that, the Storm Prediction Center has actually placed us under a slight risk for severe weather overnight tonight. And that'll include the possibility of tornadoes, hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and really strong wind gusts as we move overnight tonight, possibly up to 40 miles per hour. And we saw those stronger winds throughout earlier today. And that's because we've been placed under a wind advisory that will expire around 7 p.m. tonight. But we're going to see warmer temperatures tomorrow, but you guessed it, more rain as we move into the end of our work week. A high temperature of 74 degrees, although a clearer morning before that rain returns in the evening hours. Heavy rain, however, as we start our weekend on Saturday, moving throughout the entire daytime. But after Saturday, temperatures are going to drop down into the lower 50s, eventually into the 40s, but they will return back up into the near 70s once again.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Not good weather for golf, but good weather for basketball.
And good weather for a nice little Easter hunt this weekend. A little cold, but honestly,
We'll see.
I think everybody will take that, especially with no rain. Thank you, Emily, and thank you for joining us tonight. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net, and there you'll find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day.
And if news is happening in your community, maybe Mattoon only, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net.
Have a good night and stay dry.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.